This is the latest from Fuse News. The University and College Union are striking from today, the 1st of December, until Friday the 3rd. This means the lectures and seminars taught by those on strike will not go ahead. 58 universities across the UK are currently on strike. At Manchester, some staff are also undertaking action short of a strike from now until the demands are met or until the 3rd of May 2022. This means staff will only do exactly what their contract says, for example, only using the time they are paid for to plan lessons or do marking. The University of Manchester is striking over 4 fights: pay, workload, equality and casualisation. We spoke to staff and students on the picket lines on campus early this morning to find out why they are striking and the impact this may have on students.
So why are you out here picketing today?
So the University and College Union is out here with 4 different fights today at the University of Manchester, what we call the 4 Fights campaign, and they are pay, casualization, equality and diversity, and workload. So that's trying to make sure that our pay, for example, keeps pace with inflation, but also trying to particularly increase the pay for colleagues who are at the lower ends of the pay scales. Equality and diversity, we still have really kind of embarrassing gender and ethnicity pay gaps, and we really need sort of concrete action to work on that.
Yes.
Workload, we are all at the university hugely overworked, so sort of nominally we're supposed to have 37.5, 40 hours. But a lot of people are having to work 50, 60 hours just to complete the work that they need to get done for the university. And casualization is the sort of phenomenon of hiring increasingly either part-time but temporary colleagues to do our teaching, to help students to do various tasks around the university. And what it means is that people don't have job security, they don't have the knowledge that their job will be there the next year, they can't really focus on the students. And that's really what we're here for, because all of this is impacting our ability as academic staff, as researchers, as teachers, as academic-related staff, so people in IT and the libraries. It's affecting our ability to actually create a community at the university and to support students and support research.
Manchester missed the threshold to strike on pensions by 1 vote. However, there may be more strikes in the future, as the UMUCU are currently seeking to rebalance.
And what response would you be hoping for from the uni in the next few days?
Any response would be nice, honestly, at this stage. So, I mean, I've said this to my students across the past couple of weeks. This is the 4th or 5th time I've been out on strike since my time here at Manchester. I started here as a PhD student in 2016. 5 years down the line, this is the 4th, like I said, 4th time I've been out on strike. Any response at this point would be nice. Frankly, it's insulting. We are still out on strike on the same issues 5 years after I started here. If we don't get any response, we have to escalate. We have to continue to do this. Unfortunately, the very last thing we as academics want is to disrupt student education. The reason we are here is for student education, especially, it was why I came into this session. Full stop was to teach students, and the fact that we have to disrupt that is awful, but that shouldn't, our love for our job and our kind of care for our students shouldn't stop us escalating this really, really vital strike. Because fundamentally, we're here for our pay and conditions, but that's our pay and conditions on student education.
When it's not
So I completely sympathise with you. When I was an undergraduate student, there were strikes, there were pay and condition strikes. But I would like to remind students that some of us as staff were striking in solidarity with students when tuition fees were raised, which we, I can't speak for everyone, but certainly I absolutely objected to at the time. When I was a student at the time, I'd started my undergraduate just before the tuition fees go up. I remember my lecturers and my supervisors coming out on strike with us in solidarity. All we're asking for is understanding. We're not here to make your lives more difficult. We are here to make our lives easier, which makes your education better. you're missing a couple of seminars this week, you might miss 1 or 2 seminars this week, you might miss none. But fundamentally, if your staff are getting burned out, are getting sick because they're being overworked, they can't look after their kids, they're having to travel in. We've had academics, the story came out of The Guardian a few weeks ago about an academic who lived in a tent for over a year, while teaching her students. Like, that's not, we can't provide education in that way. So you might miss 1 seminar this week, you might miss a couple. If the strike escalates, you might miss 4. But this is the price we have to pay, that you have to pay, that we have to inflict on you, unfortunately, in order for us to not burn out completely and there be no one to teach.
I'd like to talk a bit as well about the gender, race and disability pay gaps, which I think are reflected not only in the sort of issues of kind of members of staff being able to get some different levels of pay, but also to do with issues where departments at Manchester are often sort of overwhelmingly white, even when the kind of subject matter that we're teaching concerns some really vitally important issues of race in this country at the moment. So I think it's really a matter of representation that departments need to be hiring more members of staff from people of colour, but also issues, specifically around disability. Of the high workloads mean that it's sometimes not possible for members of staff who have disabilities to do this because if you're dealing with chronic fatigue or whatever, it's just like the workloads are impossible. So there are these sort of intersectional aspects that come into play that I think are often not talked about enough.
I'm Izzy, and this has been your Fuse News Bulletin.